Eat eggs every day. For decades, eggs were labeled as bad for your cholesterol. People were told to skip the yolk, avoid eggs if you care about your heart, and many adults over 50 still carry that fear. But the science today paints a much more nuanced picture. Eggs are not just a cheap protein. They are one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. And for many people, eggs can fit into a heart-healthy diet. In this video, I'll explain what really happens when you eat eggs regularly. You'll learn the 8 science-backed benefits of eggs that matter most after age 50. You'll understand why skipping the yolk can mean skipping the nutrients you actually need. I'll also tell you who should be more cautious, because not everyone responds the same way. And at the end, I'll show you the #1 cooking mistake that turns eggs into an unhealthy meal, plus the healthiest way to cook them. Let's start with the big myth. Eggs contain cholesterol. One large egg has roughly around 180 to 200 milligrams of dietary cholesterol, mostly in the yolk. That number scared people for years. But dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol are not the same thing. Your body makes most of the cholesterol in your bloodstream. And for many people, when dietary cholesterol goes up, the body compensates by making less. That doesn't mean cholesterol doesn't matter. High LDL cholesterol is a real risk factor for heart disease. It does mean the story is more complex than egg equals high cholesterol. In most people, the bigger driver of LDL is overall diet quality and especially saturated fat. Not a single egg. That's why eggs can look safe in one person and look like a problem in another. So rather than asking, are eggs good or bad? The better questions are, how do eggs fit into your overall diet? What do you eat them with? How do you cook them? And what does your own blood work show over time? Now let's go through the benefits. Benefit #1, eye protection as you age. If you're over 50, protecting your vision is not optional. The 2 eye nutrients that matter most here are lutein and zeaxanthin. They are carotenoids that accumulate in the retina. They help filter high-energy light and support healthy aging of the macula. Egg yolks are one of the most practical dietary sources of these carotenoids. And here's the key point. These nutrients are fat-soluble, which means your body absorbs them better when they're eaten with a little fat. Eggs naturally come with that fat, so eating whole eggs can be an efficient way to support lutein and zeaxanthin intake. This is one reason why egg whites only can miss the biggest eye benefit. If you already have age-related vision changes or a family history of macular degeneration, this matters even more. Benefit #2, brain health, memory, and the nutrient called choline. Choline is one of the most underappreciated nutrients in adult nutrition. Your brain uses it to build cell membranes. Your body uses it to make acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter involved in memory and muscle control. And many people do not get enough choline from food. Egg yolks are one of the best sources of choline you can realistically add to a normal diet. After 50, supporting memory and cognitive function becomes a daily project. Eggs are not a brain supplement, but they can be one of the simplest foods that contributes to the nutrients your brain needs. Benefit #3, immune support through protein, selenium, and vitamin D. Your immune system depends on protein to build antibodies and immune cells. Eggs provide high-quality protein with a complete amino acid profile. Eggs also provide selenium, a mineral that supports antioxidant systems and immune function. And egg yolks contain vitamin D, one of the nutrients many adults are low in. Vitamin D is involved in immune regulation, bone health, and muscle function. Eggs won't boost your immune system overnight, but as part of a balanced diet, they contribute key building blocks your immune system uses every day. Benefit #4, better appetite control and weight management after 50. Many people notice weight changes even when they're eating the same way. One reason eggs can help is satiety. Protein tends to keep you full longer than refined carbohydrates. A breakfast built around eggs can reduce mid-morning cravings and snacking. That can make it easier to keep your overall calorie intake in check without feeling deprived. The biggest mistake here is turning an egg breakfast into a sugar and fat breakfast. If your eggs come with pancakes, syrup, pastries, and sweet coffee drinks, the benefit gets diluted. If your eggs come with vegetables and a source of fiber, the satiety effect becomes much stronger. Benefit #5, better triglyceride profile with omega-3 enriched eggs. Let's talk about triglycerides. High triglycerides are common as we age, especially with insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and fatty liver. They're strongly influenced by diet quality, excess sugar, excess refined carbs, and alcohol. Some eggs are enriched with omega-3 fats, depending on the hen's feed. These omega-3 enriched eggs can help increase your omega-3 intake. And in some people, improving omega-3 intake is associated with better triglyceride patterns. This doesn't mean eggs are a triglyceride medication. It means the type of egg you choose, and the dietary pattern around it, can matter if you're trying to improve triglycerides. The bigger wins are still reducing added sugars, limiting refined carbs, and prioritizing whole foods, but omega-3 enriched eggs can be one helpful piece of that strategy. Benefit number 6. A more realistic view of eggs and stroke risk. You may have heard headlines that eggs cause heart attacks or strokes. Most of those headlines ignore something crucial. People don't eat eggs in isolation in many diets. Eggs are often paired with processed meats, deep-fried sides, and high-sodium foods. So the question becomes, are we seeing an egg effect or a breakfast pattern effect? Large observational studies have found that moderate egg intake is often neutral, and in some populations it's not associated with higher cardiovascular risk. But the evidence is not identical for every group, and it can vary depending on overall diet quality and health status. The most honest conclusion is this. For many people, eggs can fit into a heart-healthy pattern. But if eggs are consistently eaten with processed meats and lots of saturated fat, the overall meal can push risk in the wrong direction. That's why what you pair eggs with matters as much as the egg itself. Benefit number 7. Bone and muscle support through key nutrients. After 50, bone loss and muscle loss become more common. This is especially important for postmenopausal women, but it affects men too. Eggs provide protein, which supports muscle maintenance. They provide phosphorus, which is involved in bone structure. And again, they provide vitamin D in the yolk, which supports calcium handling in the body. Eggs won't replace resistance training, protein targets, or medical care for osteoporosis. But as a convenient, high-quality protein source, they can support the foundation, maintaining muscle and staying steady on your feet. Benefit number 8. HDL, the good cholesterol, and the bigger cholesterol picture. Many people focus only on LDL, but HDL is part of the picture too. In some people, eating eggs is associated with higher HDL levels, and HDL is involved in reverse cholesterol transport, meaning it helps move cholesterol away from tissues. Now, here's the caution. Some people are hyperresponders to dietary cholesterol. That means their LDL cholesterol can rise more noticeably when they eat a lot of dietary cholesterol. This is not rare. It may be a substantial minority of people. And this is why a one-size-fits-all answer about eggs doesn't work. If your cholesterol numbers have been stable and your diet is low in saturated fat, eggs may fit very well. If your LDL is high, or you have diabetes, or you have established heart disease, you should personalize this with your clinician and your lab results. Now let's address the question everyone asks. Yolk versus white. Egg whites are mostly protein and water. They can be a great option if you need extra protein with minimal calories. But the yolk is where most of the key micronutrients live. The yolk contains choline. The yolk contains lutein and zeaxanthin. The yolk contains vitamin D. The yolk also contains other fat-soluble nutrients that simply aren't present in the same way in the white. So if you always discard the yolk, you're often discarding the very reasons eggs are valuable for adults over 50. A practical compromise for many people is this: use whole eggs for the nutrients. And if you want more protein, add extra egg whites rather than removing the yolk. For example, one whole egg plus 1 or 2 extra whites. That keeps the nutrient density and boosts protein without overloading calories. Now, how many eggs per day makes sense? For many healthy adults, up to about 1 egg per day can fit into an overall heart-healthy pattern. Some people do fine with more than that. But fine should be defined by your own risk factors and your own labs, not by social media. If you're curious about eating eggs daily, here's a safe, practical approach. First, focus on the cooking method and what you eat with the eggs. Second, keep the rest of your diet low in saturated fat. Third, check your lipid panel periodically and look at the trend over time. Your goal is not to win an argument about eggs. Your goal is to keep your arteries healthy. Now let's talk about who should be more cautious. If you have high LDL cholesterol, diabetes, prediabetes, known heart disease, a history of stroke, or a strong family history of early heart disease, you should personalize your egg intake. If you have familial hypercholesterolemia, dietary cholesterol may matter more for you. If you're already on a treatment plan for cholesterol, don't make major diet changes without discussing it with your healthcare provider. And if you've noticed that your cholesterol rises when you increase eggs, you may be a hyperresponder. In that case, it doesn't mean eggs are poison. It means your body reacts differently, and you should adjust the dose and the pattern. Here's a practical way to think about it. If you decide to eat eggs more often, don't guess. Use your lab results. Ask your doctor how often you should check your cholesterol and triglycerides based on your risk level. And if your LDL rises significantly after increasing eggs, that's useful information. It tells you that your personal right amount may be lower, or that you need to tighten the rest of the diet, especially saturated fat. Now, the healthiest way to cook eggs. This is where most people get it wrong. The number one cooking mistake is not the egg. The number one mistake is what you combine with the egg. When eggs are cooked with a lot of saturated fat, like butter, bacon grease, lard, or heavy amounts of cheese, you turn a nutrient-dense food into a meal that can raise LDL and worsen cardiovascular risk over time. And when eggs are paired with processed meats like bacon and sausage, you add extra sodium, preservatives, and a dietary pattern that is consistently associated with worse cardiovascular outcomes. So if your breakfast is eggs plus bacon plus buttered toast, and you do that daily, the egg gets blamed. But the saturated fat and processed meat may be doing most of the damage. So what should you do instead? The healthiest cooking principle is simple. Use lower heat. Use minimal added fat. Prefer unsaturated fats when you do use fat. And avoid overbrowning the eggs. Gently cooked eggs are a safer default. High heat and heavy browning can create more unwanted byproducts in many foods. So keeping the temperature moderate is a simple way to protect the quality of the meal. Here are several heart-friendlier options. Boiled eggs, poached eggs, soft scrambled eggs cooked gently on low heat, omelet cooked with a small amount of olive oil or avocado oil, filled with vegetables like spinach, tomatoes, mushrooms, onions, or peppers. If you use a nonstick pan, you may not need much oil at all. And if you like fried eggs, keep the heat moderate and use a small amount of a heart-friendlier oil instead of butter or bacon grease. Another easy upgrade is what you put on the plate with the eggs. Add a vegetable, add fiber, add fruit. Choose whole grains if you eat bread. And if you want a savory side, consider avocado, tomatoes, or sautéed greens, not processed meats. Now, one more important point, especially for adults over 50, food safety. Avoid raw eggs. Avoid undercooked eggs if you're at higher risk for foodborne illness. Cook eggs until the whites are set and the yolk is at least thickened, and follow safe storage practices. This is not about fear, it's about reducing unnecessary risk. Now let's recap the 8 benefits. Benefit number 1. Eye health support through lutein and zeaxanthin, especially in the yolk. Benefit number 2. Brain and memory support through choline and high-quality nutrients. Benefit number 3. Immune support through protein, selenium, and vitamin D contribution. Benefit number 4. Better satiety and appetite control, especially at breakfast. Benefit number 5. Omega-3 enriched eggs can support omega-3 intake and may help triglyceride patterns as part of a healthy diet. Benefit number 6. A more realistic, evidence-based view of eggs and stroke risk, with a strong focus on the overall meal and diet pattern. Benefit number 7. Bone and muscle support through protein, phosphorus, and vitamin D contribution. Benefit number 8. Potential HDL improvements, while recognizing that some people may see LDL rise. And here are the 3 takeaways I want you to remember. Number 1. Don't skip the yolk automatically. The yolk contains many of the nutrients that make eggs valuable after 50. Number 2. The egg problem is often a breakfast pattern problem. Eggs cooked with lots of saturated fat and paired with processed meat is a very different health picture than eggs cooked gently and paired with vegetables. Number 3. Personalize. If you have high cholesterol, diabetes, or heart disease, talk to your doctor about what's best for you, and watch your lab trends over time. If this video helped you, subscribe for more evidence-based health information for adults over 50, and share it with a friend who still thinks eggs are bad, just because of an old cholesterol myth. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it does not replace a conversation with your healthcare provider. If you have high cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease, or you take medications that affect your cardiovascular risk, talk to your doctor about the best dietary plan for your specific health needs.